Should I start? Thank you so much. Please let me know when to start. All right. So I'll start. Hello everyone, I'm Vachi Parekh. I am the title holder of Miss India Quintessential 2020. And first of all, before I begin with anything, thank you so very much, Rakhi ma'am, who is also the principal of Jadavar International School, to give me this opportunity to speak to people and voice my opinions. And of course, more than everything, raise awareness. So, to start with, we are going to be talking about women empowerment. And in this time and this age, particularly, it is important that we understand what women empowerment is, what is happening around us, that we need a term called women empowerment as a whole. And also, what can you do to empower women? And these are the few things that we will be looking into um, as my life continues. So the one thing I would request to everybody watching is that please leave me questions and tell me your opinions and tell me whether you agree with me or not, because I think this is a very broad term and it's important that we cohesively come to a conclusion, because if we were to just be one person sitting and talking, it will not make sense. So let's make this interactive is all what I'm trying to say. So I'll start off with what is women empowerment, and I think that is something we should all know about, but unfortunately not a lot of us know about it. So women empowerment as a term, it just simply means that we need to give women and females, not just of our country but of the world, around the world, equal rights that a man would get. They should not be put a barrier down or a barricade down because simply because they are a female, and that will be very wrong on the female's part. And to be honest, it is wrong because it happens. We've seen that in so many fields. People, when they're working the same job, it's there's a difference between a man and a woman and their pay system, which is very sad. And you know women are being discriminated, and that is what we need to stop. We need to actually, we need to make people understand that just being a female shouldn't be a disadvantage. I mean, both the genders are equal, and we need to start putting that into practice. It just doesn't work with us saying that, oh, there's feminism, oh, there's women empowerment. You actually need to work upon it, and you need to act upon it, and you need to make sure that you are becoming a part of this moment and a very readily available part of this movement. So I think what we need to understand is that this isn't going to happen if all the females of the world come together. This is going to happen when the world comes together. We need every man, every woman, and every child understanding this concept so that they can start working upon it. So to come to the actual definition of the term for women empowerment, it just means that you are giving females the rights that they deserve, you are giving them the opportunities that they deserve, and you are not holding them back from doing anything for the sole reason that their gender is not male. It is just the argument between the discrimination that we have been facing and we have been seeing, honestly, from ages now. And women empowerment is just a word given for the progress towards the future. And it is necessary that we start progressing now, because as many of us have believed and have started to say that we're already living in the future. So I think future will begin when we start to actually giving not just male and female as genders, but all of the genders that are available and are there equal importance, equal rights, and we shouldn't take it away from them. That is all this term comprises of, that is all this term means. So now that we've understood what this is all about, there are a lot of things that happen which are going against it, and by a lot I mean a good 80% of the world that is going against it. And unfortunately our country is one of the worst when it comes to women empowerment, which is very sad, because the maximum religions and cultures that we have, we pray to female goddesses, and we have goddesses sitting in our temples, we are praying to them, we are looking up to them as a ray of hope. And then on the other hand, when there's an actual woman in front of you, people don't respect them, they don't respect their privacy. There are rape cases that are rising day and night. And it's sad, because we need to begin to realize that it's not just about faking it. In places, a lot of times we hear that people say, oh, fake it till you make it. But I think in moments like these, you can't fake it till you make it, because there is no making it if you're just acting. You have to be very real with it. You have to be a very, very active part of all of this. And to do that, it can be a very, very small, you don't have to go out and start an NGO or put behind thousands and lakhs of rupees for this to happen. It's going to be a very, very, very small gesture from your end, which is going to make it happen. It is as simple as you teach your sons and daughters at home that just because their gender is different, you have the right to, tell them how to do things, or you have the, you have a hand over them, you have permission over them. And I think it starts from home. It really does. You need to start telling your kids, your sisters and your brothers that just because a person's gender is different, it doesn't matter, because they're equally the same. And we need to start judging people from their personal experiences, from their the sort of capabilities that they keep within themselves and how good they are at doing a job. And no one's to say that a female may be a better software engineer than a man. It is fully possible, and it could also be the situation other way around. And I think the only loophole in this entire situation is that we are not willing to believe it, and the ones that believe it are not willing to act upon it, and the ones that are acting upon it are very few. We are a country of 1.3 billion people and a population on this globe for over 7 billion. I think even if one of us start to change the mind of one single person, the change will be so quick and so rapid that we'll change minds altogether. And that truly should be the aim of all of it, is to finally reach a method of thinking, a method of understanding and acting that is fair on everyone's part. We cannot limit it to just one person, one family, a group of people, a single country, a single state. It has to be one country and then the globe as a whole. So I think we need to keep the bigger motive in mind. I've always heard my teachers telling me that, oh, if you want an 80% as your grade scale, aim for 100, so you will somewhere land on an 80. And that is what we need to do. We are a country of 1.3 billion people, and it is a responsibility that we change 1.3 billion minds. We need to aim for the entire globe, so slowly and steadily we'll at least be able to cover 80% of it. and then the 20% can be dealt with slowly and steadily. 100% of the globe, our country, everybody around us will have a thinking that a term like women empowerment will cease to exist. The reason why it exists is because females feel that they have been discriminated. They haven't been given the right sort of opportunities. Their opportunities have been taken away from them just because they're a female. It is sad that in our country, every girl has a pepper spray on her, every girl has a Swiss knife on her, everyone has, every female will have their parents and the police number on speed dial because we're afraid. We're afraid that our dignity is at stake, and honestly, that needs to go away. I should be able to walk out of my house wearing whatever it is that I feel like it at whatever time of the day or night without having the fear that I am at danger, I am at some point putting my life at risk. And once people, females, males, both, begin to realize that it is about respecting both the genders equally, I do believe that this problem, would reduce itself. Not 100%. It's not going to be an overnight process. You're not going to be able to change everyone's mind in a day or two. It is going to be a very small effort, and you can start that effort with your home. Maybe the house help that you have, you can start educating them that, oh, if you are educating your son, make sure you're also educating your daughter. It is the little steps. Do not like hire house help that is anything younger than 20 years old, because you know that she needs to go and finish her college. Or if you're hiring her, put a condition that you need to educate yourself, and only then I will let you work at my house. And I think those very, very small moments, like with me, I work with multiple NGOs and I do these things, sort of seminars or classes or whatever you would want to instate them to be, for good touch and bad touch. And I don't hold a class just of females, I'm holding a class of males as well. And that is because, as much as we are trying to tell the females of our country that, what, you need to be safe and you need to be, um, protected, and you need to know how to protect your own self, it is important that we also teach the males of our country that you don't have the right to make anybody feel unsafe, unprotected in a place where they wouldn't want to be, or uncomfortable. So, when I do that, I'm teaching them all four or five areas which are considered bad touch, and then all the remaining touches, what sort of touches, like how is it that your family members should touch you? How is it that a person who you're not very acquainted should be interacting with you? And I think, I'm only 18 and I can only do so much. But, when there is a crowd of 100 people, and out of those 100 people, even 20 volunteer to come out and maybe do it in their city. Maybe, like, I live in Pune, I go to a particular area, I go to a few of known NGOs. There could be somebody living on the other end of Pune, who can contact me and be like, okay, let's do this together. I will also start going to NGOs, and I will also start telling people how important it is to raise awareness and to let the females of our country know that there will come a future where they will be safe. We need to give them the sort of condolences that, what, it's going to happen, and there's nobody to take your security away from you. And, a lot of times, even I believe that, oh, I'm only going to like 4 or 5 NGOs maybe in 2 to 3 months. How much of a difference am I making? But every single time I go and I meet those kids again, they are more groomed. They are more, steady. They're more there. They understand what is respect. They understand what are personal boundaries. And it's important that every age group understands. So I think that is the whole problem with women empowerment. That is why women empowerment exists. The term exists. So coming on to how do we protect it? How do we, help it step by step? So multiple ways. Like right now, I'm on a live stream for a school, for an institution. This is one way to help. You know, right now, some of the students will watch, some parents would watch, some teachers would be watching, and that is how you are mouthing the word, right? And now if there are, let's say, 50 people watching this right now, and even 5 of them begin to act upon it, it makes a difference, because from those 5 the next 5 would, and then this chain is going to continue until a good amount of people will be, you know, well read about these matters. So one way to fix it is we need to entail education in our organizations, in our schools, that we need to teach the children that, okay, this is how you interact with a person, this is how you're supposed to treat a person. The one thing I genuinely feels upsetting, which just truly upsets me very personally, is that I've just begun my college, and the time I was in school, I was never taught anything but truly my education, like just books, and which is very important. It is important to learn certain things, certain subjects, certain areas of life. But I also feel like it is also important to learn etiquettes. It is important to learn how to interact with people, how to respect people. And the fastest and the best way and the largest way to reach and make an impact is schooling organizations. It is a suggestion from my end to every person related to any school is watching here, is to start seminars related on sex education. It is to start seminars on basic etiquette of interaction. It is to start seminars on how do you respect people, and not just respecting your elders. We've always been taught, I have been taught in my household that you should always respect your elders no matter what the situation is. And I go by it, I abide by it. If I have somebody older to me speaking to me, I am going to respect them at any cost. But what I feel like is we need to also teach is how you just respect your peers. People don't understand that. Sometimes when you're sitting in a classroom and you hear somebody tease another person, oh, you look funny, or your face looks funny, as a joke, it's all right. But we need to realize that certain times those words stick to people, and they also come in the category of discrimination. And people really don't take women empowerment that far behind. They don't actually put the two and two together. They think women empowerment is more of an issue that adults are facing, or working women are facing. But it's really not. It really seeds from the bottom, and we need to understand that we need to start clearing it from the roots. We are told to keep close to our roots, and we need to make sure that our roots are clean, clear, the right roots to stick by. So I genuinely, like, even to Mrs. Vyas, the principal, I'm eternally grateful to her that she's given me the opportunity to speak about this, because this just shows that the organization is ready and heavily working towards correcting the issue of women empowerment. They're actually working towards empowering women, which is amazing. Because when I go for competitions, when I'm competing for pageants, it's a misconception that it is all about beauty, but it is nearly not about beauty. It is the beauty you carry in your heart, in your head. It is the thoughts, it's how you think, and the sort of values you want to give forward to people. And this is one value I think I would want to preach my entire life. One value that I will follow, and one value that I would continue to preach, is that you need to simply respect everybody around you, regardless of their gender, regardless of their abilities or disabilities. And if we are able to instill respect, understanding, education, and awareness together, that will truly make such an effective snowball that the coming generation, the generation which is mine, the generation that will be after mine, would understand that there shouldn't exist a world where women empowerment is necessary. To them, basic respect should be a requirement, and not how do I say it? It should just be a requirement. Like, it shouldn't be something that they should be happy receiving. It's not a gift. It is something you should just simply do. It's a way of life. So I think when people do begin to realize that, when people do begin to preach, understand, and practice that, we will come to a point where our females will be safe, and the term women empowerment would cease to exist, because our females will be empowered. And once one generation is changed, they will continue to change. There was a time a long time ago where medicine as a whole thing did not exist. People did not believe or understand the concept of hospitals or doctors. But slowly and steadily they came into practice, and today doctors are literally life saviors. In this current situation, they are nothing but next to God to all of us, because they are actually saving our lives. They're making sure that we are safe. And at this point, a person cannot imagine a world without a doctor. And I think that is what needs to happen a few years down the line, that females should not be able to imagine a world where fear exists of them just leaving their homes or being discriminated at a job or not being paid to what they deserve. Because if there's a boy doing a management degree and a female doing a management degree, they're both equally educated. It shouldn't take away from her opportunities of earning more money or earning the same amount of salary that the boy is earning. So, with all of that kept in mind, we need to start instilling it from our roots. We need to start teaching the kids, the really young ones, my generation, a generation older to me as well. We need to start telling everybody that, look, if you were to discriminate a female or even a male for that matter, it's not going to work. We're not going to accept it. The reason why people continue to still do it is that पीपल एक्सेप्ट इट. उनको लगता है कि अगर हम किसी लड़की को डिस्क्रिमिनेट करेंगे तो चलेगा, which shouldn't be an option. It should be so socially not acceptable that people don't even, it shouldn't come in anybody's brain to do it. Do people go around killing people on the street just out of nowhere? They don't, because it's a punishable offense. And so should female discrimination be, because it's somebody's life you're playing with. You're not killing them, but you're not letting them grow either. And I think that is wrong. At least in my personal perspective, it is wrong. There are so many things that people actually don't understand or realize that actually instill all of this. Is schools having stricter dress codes for girls. Girls are not allowed to expose their shoulders. The skirts or dresses or tunics should be below your knees. And to put etiquette in them with those sort of clothing measures is very right. It is completely agreed that we need to teach our kids how to dress. We need to let them know that, okay, this is the formal method of dressing, this is the informal method of dressing. But what we're also doing in that, we're psychologically making men believe that looking at a female's shoulder, or if she's wearing anything shorter than a knee length dress or pants or tunic, it is aggravating. And so one easy solution to it is that schools need to put down school uniforms. Yes, they do. Having a school uniform is one of the basic ways of encouraging etiquette, of encouraging discipline in a person, and it works. But what we can also do is that maybe on the last day of the week, whether a Friday or a Saturday, we can make it a no uniform day, and we let kids come in with their casual clothing and actually don't bound them to a stricter uniform, so that when both males and females are interacting with each other, looking at a girl and looking at her shoulders to a man should not be aggravating. And that is how we normalize these concepts. Because if we're going to keep our girls covered and our men outraged, it's not going to reach a solution. And we're just going to have to teach our girls how to do taekwondo and just hope and pray that they're not losing their respect any time of the day. So I think one way to do it is that you need to start psychologically telling people that from a very young age that, a girl wearing short clothes or a girl wearing a burqa, there is no difference between that. It is personally the person's choice on what she wants to wear, and that does not give them the right or the ability to be able to misbehave with her. And I am sorry if I've hurt anyone's sentiments as I have been continuing, but these are just my personal opinions. These are certain things that I have realized with the research that I've done. Because according to the research I've done, psychological training and thinking is one of the biggest reasons why there is female discrimination in the world and not just in our country. And the best way to change it is when you remove the whole psychology from the childhood. So to every person from the school watching this, if you do agree with my point of views, if you do agree that maybe the last day of your school in every week, a Friday or a Saturday, should be a no uniforms day, so that we can actually begin to normalize the fact that girls wearing short, long clothing of their choice actually is okay to do so. So as a whole, I feel like I'm putting my effort to empower women. The school is putting their effort to empower women. The students of the school, the teachers of the school also need to start putting their efforts in empowering women, because it is necessary, it is essential. Because at this point, the rape rates in our country are rising. And it is honestly very, very, very unsettling to see that people are okay with that happening. People are okay with listening to that. It has almost become so mundane. You hear, oh, a girl somewhere in some part of the country got raped, and people are like, oh, it happened again. It's no longer part and parcel of a surprise, but it is part and parcel of our daily living, which is very, very sad. You know, there are young girls who are some few months old, and there are younger girls who are 10 or 12 years old, and then there are girls that are a little older, girls that are working. There hasn't been anybody left. And at this point, we all fear that tomorrow it could be us. And it is so, I don't even know how to put more pressure on this, but it is so important to get rid of this fear. मतलब ये बहुत बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है कि हम ये fear मतलब हर जगह से मिटा दे, that we get rid of it completely. We are able to diminish it, and it will only and only happen, I keep saying this over and over again, it will only happen when we start doing it from our roots, when we start teaching kids that are still in their schooling and college years that it is okay for a girl to be in any sort of length of clothing. It is not okay to discriminate a female just because she's a female. It is not okay to support a practice, a place, or a position where a female is being downgraded for her gender. It is not okay to treat the women of your house as a liability. It is not okay to constrain the females of your house to a certain thing, a certain aspect, a certain job. We need to let them go. And this is the only solution to it. There is no trial and error, there is no waiting. The world is not going to correct itself, because this isn't a natural problem. This is a problem humans have created, and only humans will be able to fix. So I would want to know if anybody has any questions or anything that they want me to address specifically, or anything that they would want to ask me. I will be more than happy to answer it. I'm just reading the comments, and thank you so much, everyone. Any questions, anything, please let me know. I would love to address any one of your points, or if you don't even agree with any of my point of views, I would love to see them. I would love to hear them and have a discussion. That is what we are here for, to have an open forum so that we can correct things. Please leave your questions, thoughts, views, point of views, anything in the comments. I'll be more than happy to address them. Yes. So I've just gotten a comment, and that says, nowadays girls are more successful in comparison to boys. They are. In a lot of fields, yes, they are. And that is the snowball of change. It's happening now. It wasn't happening a couple of years ago. And it's happened because people have realized that, oh, there can be words like feminism, there can be movements like feminism, and there are things and concepts like women empowerment that need to exist. So yes, girls are becoming more successful than boys, but that doesn't mean that the men are losing out. It just means that girls are just finding their places. It's not taking away from anybody's rights or capabilities. Who is my ideal person? So for me, honestly, I think I have one person that I look up to from my personal life, and then one person that I look up to from not my personal life. So from my personal life, it's my mom. It's my mother, just so much so because I've seen her. She single-handedly started a business, ran it, grew it, still is running it. And she is doing so well for herself, and I think that I am so empowered because I see that my mom is so empowered. She is just standing there. She runs a business, she does the technical part, she does the purchasing part, she does the selling part, the accountancy. absolutely everything under her panel, and it just shows me that if you really, really, really want to make a difference for your own self, you can do it. And I think just looking at her, I have been taught well, and I believe that I can change the world. So yeah, she is my ideal person who I actually look up to. And if I were to talk about a public figure, then I would say it would be Priyanka Chopra, because she's a brown girl who came into the world where having darker skin tones was looked down upon, you know. Oh, you're brown, okay, you're not attractive. It is all of those things, but today she is one of the best the world has got to offer. So I think both of these women that I look up to have been the snowball of change in my life, and I hope that I will be able to be a snowball of change in somebody else's life. What are my future plans? So right now I am studying BBA. I am in the first year of my college. I intend on continuing in the fashion industry, and at the same time I intend on running an NGO and a business. So those are just roughly what my future plans are, but I'm still 18 and I don't know where my life is going to bring me in 5 years. So I'm open to absolutely anything and everything that I get offered. But for now, that is what my future plans are. Yes, and you should be very proud of yourself, Preeti ma'am. You should really be very proud of yourself. Being self dependent is one of the greatest assets you can have. You know, when you don't have to look up to anybody to do certain things for you, but you're just doing it for yourself and you're making yourself successful, there isn't anything prouder than that. And you should indeed be very proud of yourself. Um, how did I feel when I won the crown? I think the feeling was very, very surreal. So, very short story is that I got to know about the pageant at a very, very end date, a very last moment sort of a thing. So, I was afraid that I was not going to be able to make it. And like I said, I look up to my mom, and both my parents, in fact, they made it happen. We took an overnight flight to Delhi, and we flew. I attended my pageant, and you know, I was the youngest. I was at that time 17, and everybody around me was 19 and above. So I was definitely afraid that maybe my age is going to be a disadvantage. But I think, you know, when they say when you work hard, it does have to pay off someday or the other. And for me, I think it was that day, that feeling I really cannot forget. You know, it still gives me shivers down my spine because I am so overjoyed that I was able to do something like this. And, you know, it's not just for me, it is for the country that I represent. And, you know, there couldn't be a prouder feeling to wear India across your chest. You know, you feel so much pride and joy. You feel that you have actually been able to make a difference. And after the pageant, I've been able to get the opportunity to raise my voice, and I'm very, very, very happy about it. Thank you so much, Rakhi ma'am. I would not have been able to do this if you did not give me the opportunity to be here and put my opinions forward. I have been overjoyed to have a great, great session, and I hope everyone enjoyed it as much as I did. And I hope that things that I've said, even if one or two of them could make a difference in anybody's life, it serves my purpose of being here. So thank you so much for letting me be here and letting me speak and voice my opinions freely without any restrictions. Thank you so much, Rakhi ma'am. To be honest, I would love to meet them when you know the schools open and when the situations permit us to do so. I would really, really love to meet them, have a good conversation with them, discuss with them, because I think I truly enjoy meeting people who have similar or different opinions for that matter, and just having an open forum of conversation, because that is the best way to have solutions to absolutely anything. So I think I'm going to take everyone's leave now, and I hope that you all enjoyed, and I hope that each one of you understood my point of view. And yet again, I am a apologizing if in turn anyone's sentiments were hurt. It was not my motive to do so. I was just here to raise awareness and voice my opinions. So thank you so much to the principal and to the organization to let me be here. And I hope you all have a great and a safe quarantine ahead of you. Goodbye.